Yes. Yes. Okay. Perfect. For some reason, it was wanting to be finicky. Okay, here we go. Oh, now I can see Monica and Dee. Oh my gosh. Okay. This is fun. Yay. I don't know why it does that to me. It's so weird when that logs on. Okay, thanks for being on, guys. Happy Wednesday. I know, oh gosh, yeah, several people are still hopping on. I feel like this week is going so slow. Do you guys? I don't know why. Normally they've been flying by, and yesterday I was like, man, it feels like it should be Friday.
It should be Friday.
Yes, it's
Yeah,
crazy.
it has been dragging for me a bit too. So,
Hey, Austin.
hey Dana, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you.
Good. Yeah, it seems like it's been dragging. So I don't know if you guys saw this that I put in the Facebook group last night, but I laughed so hard and actually my coach Terry commented and she's like, yep, that pretty much sums you up. But I was like, man, my squirrels this week, and y'all are gonna be able to tell by this mindset too, my squirrels this week are like seriously at a rave. Like, I mean, they are party central. I don't know what is going on, but I have been like just all over the place this week. And I don't know if you guys can see this, but in my office here, I have this, hold on, let me see if I can, we have like a whiteboard wall. Can you see all of that? It's obviously, you can't read it, but it's like a big whiteboard with a bunch of stuff on it. Anyway, I have been like one color and then I go to another idea and then I go back to another idea. I'm like crazy this week. It's just been nuts. So anyway, I thought that was funny. Renee, I'm glad that you feel the same too. And then just to show you guys how squirrel I really am. Oh, Patty can only see the shared screen. You can't see people? Yes, Kyra, I totally agree. Patty, hit escape on your computer and then it should minimize it to where you can actually see people too. Hopefully that helps. So one thing I've been realizing this week is that I'm super grateful for sunshine. I don't know how many of you guys would agree with that, but when it gets a couple of cloudy, yes, Michael, when it gets a couple of cloudy or dreary days, I'm like, I just want to call it a week. Like I'm done for the rest of the week. So I just thought it'd be fun, just because I just thought it'd be fun. Type in the chat box, what's your favorite season? Do you guys are you ready for summer? Do you like winter? Do you like fall? Do you like spring? I'm definitely a fall person. Oh, wow, lots of fall people. Yep. Yeah, I love it. And then just to show you guys while you're continuing summer, yeah, fall, summer for me too, for sure. Oh, because of course Oliver wants to play golf. Yep, totally could have seen that. Yeah, so it's been interesting, but then just to show you how squirrel I really am, I saw this picture last night, these goats in the sink, and at the beginning of the week, I don't know, I've been like, my mindset has been really good, but I've just been torn in a lot of different directions on some things, and so I had like a semi little meltdown with Adam, and I'm like, sometimes I think, wouldn't it be fun just have a really small life? Like, who needs a big life? Let's just have like a really small life and live in a really small house. And so I saw this picture last night. So he was actually, I don't know where he was, but anyway, I screenshotted this and sent it to him and said, this is what I want for my birthday. I just want all these little goats, and that's it. Like, I'll be great after that. But I just thought it was funny. So yeah, anyway, I'm glad to see you guys are feeling the sunshine too. So, okay, we're going to be a little squirrel today. And that's why I started with that, because I had a couple things I couldn't decide what I wanted to share with you guys. So here's the first one. 5 key elements of a healthy mindset. So number 1 is calm. And so I gave a couple of examples for you guys on these, and I'd love for you to type in the chat any thoughts you have too, so we can all share with each other. But the first thing is calm. And so that is the ability to calm your mind when you're under pressure is crucial to a healthy mindset. Calmness comes when you bring awareness to what's happening and what you're thinking. And so the first thing that popped into my head when I read this, I am not a fan of tight spaces. Like, do not like elevators, really don't like airplanes. So I'm actually kind of loving that I'm not flying right now, because typically I'm flying like 3 to 6 times a month probably. So this has been great for me, because even though I fly that often, I have like full-blown panic every single time I have to fly. And so I thought about this. This was the first thing I thought about, is the tight spaces thing, because There's a lady named Tracy Morrow. I've known her for a couple years now. Was introduced to her from John Maxwell. She's huge in the Beachbody world, and she has a great Instagram. You should follow her if you're not already. It's Tracy, Traci Morrow. We actually interviewed her on our podcast. But anyway, during the podcast, I didn't know this about her, but she had the same thing. And so it was interesting because she said, Dana, I calm my mind. And I'm like, oh, well, please share because I have never been able to seem to do that. And she said, I have to walk myself through it. I walk myself through saying, okay, I may get stuck in this elevator, but I'm going to be calm and I'm not going to die and I'm still going to be able to breathe and my breath is flowing freely. And so she said, I just have practiced over the years being able to calm my mind. And so ever since then, I've been doing all of this research on calming the mind. But I thought that was crazy that was number one. Number two is clarity, having a clear idea of what's important to you. Oh, my example didn't fill in. Sorry, guys. If what's important to you is key to dealing with indecision. Get clear on your priorities, goals, and values to help remove the overwhelm that comes from uncertainty. So I don't know about you guys, but when I am uncertain on something or I don't have a clear vision around it, I am not in a good headspace. Like I need to know what's going on. Part of that could be control issues, and I'm very well aware of that. But when I need to know, like when I don't know what's going on, there's a lot of uncertainty, and then your mind isn't healthy. And so I love for KW people, clarity is power. And I really love thinking about clarity on that. And so I was going to type for some reason, it didn't come up in here, but the example that I was thinking around this is, I have a lot of business, well, not a lot, several businesses right now that I'm kind of going back and forth between. And some of you guys may feel like this at times too, but it's hard to focus on multiple things with 100% of that, with 100% of your energy. And so I've been thinking a lot lately, okay, what are the clear priorities and goals for each one? What are the values that can come with those? And then how can I get kind of a grasp around that? So I like the clarity. Number 3 is compassion. One of the biggest contributors to a healthy mindset. Are you guys hearing an echo? Sorry. To a healthy mindset is a lack of compassion towards yourself, actually, not even towards others, but towards yourself. Be kind to yourself and focus less on how you compare to others. And so this one, some of us may not even feel like this is a big one for us. But the reality is that it can creep up on us. So the example I wanted to give to this is a lot of you guys have heard me talk about before, and maybe you've even heard Craig Groeschel talk about it, but running your own race. And I believe we talked about that on one of our first Wednesdays that we had, but running your own race and really not comparing yourself to others or what they are doing, but more of thinking about having compassion towards yourself, because there's a lot of times where, I don't know, I'm just going to speak for myself and you guys chime in, but when you can kind of get down on yourself and it can creep up out of nowhere pretty quickly. And you don't even realize that you're doing it. But really, I just think when you can show yourself grace, that's really good. So then the 4th one is concentration. And concentration is about a commitment and dedication to yourself, keeping your focus on your own goals, kind of goes with the first one or the one before this, and then what's important to you rather than distractions from outside sources. We all have distractions. And right now, probably some of our biggest distractions are at home. And it might be just throwing you off from what you're normally used to doing, whether that's kids or housework or getting to be sunny and summer outside and wanting to go to the lake and wanting to go to the beach or get on the boat or do whatever. And so the example I thought about this is John Maxwell talks about this, and I've heard Gary Keller talk about this a lot of times too, but John Maxwell always talks about a bunker, how we all have to have our own bunker. So like when we really want to get in a concentration mode, where is that space? Where is the place? What's around us? What's the bunker that we can really focus on and get all the distractions away from us? And honestly, if you could spend a little bit of time every single day in your bunker, then that leads to better concentration instead of getting all over the place. And I'll do really good with that for a while, and then I'll get away from it and then I'll get back to it. So hopefully I'm not alone in that. And then the last one is courage. And so when you procrastinate and avoid taking action, you stay stuck in the same place you've always been. Find the courage to take action, even if you don't feel ready. And so I shared a quick video in a Facebook group for a bunch of real estate agents called Pivot that a leader asked me to share. Anyway, it's called the 4 C's, and some of you have probably heard this before, but that's the first thing I thought of, because a lot of times when we're procrastinating and avoiding taking action, really we need to go start with the first C, which is commitment. We need to go make a really big commitment first, because the 4 C's are commitment. You go make a huge, big commitment. Even when you don't have the courage or the credentials or the capabilities or the confidence, you make the commitment first, and then everything else follows. So after you start with the commitment, you move to the second C, which is courage, because you've made the commitment at that point, right? You're in, you've already committed, you're going to do it. Then you start to develop the courage. And then the third C is credentials or capabilities. Some people say both words, because then you start to develop what it takes to do the job. And then you move to the fourth C, which is confidence. You get confidence. But the crazy thing is, sometimes you can fall into a fifth C, which is complacency, if you don't actually go back to number 1 and make another big commitment. So it's kind of like we got to get into action and make these big commitments. And then that's kind of when the courage comes. You're not typically going to get the courage first and then go make it, because if that's what it was left up to for a lot of us, we would never go do it, because we don't have the courage to do it, if that makes sense. So I thought that was really good. I wanted to start with that. The second thing is, I don't know if any of you watched Craig Groeschel this weekend. I know Ashley Marsh did, if she's on, because I saw it on her Instagram. Oh, wait, let me go back to the chat really fast. Yes, Teresa, thank you. I love that podcast. Oh, yeah, Dee, don't compare your insides with other people's outsides. Discipline, loving, and encouraging self-talk. Yep, whether you admit it or not, we all talk to ourselves. The question is, what are you saying to you? It is something we all must fine-tune. Kyra, could not agree more. I totally agree with that. And I think we all struggle with that. So this past weekend, Craig Groeschel did a killer message called Enough of the Bad News. And as soon as I saw the title, I was like, yep, I'm in. This is great. This is perfect. And so I just wanted to share a couple of the things that he had, that he shared in his message. So the first one, he talked about optimism. So optimism is not a denial of reality, and it's not blind faith. And sometimes I've even heard people say this to me before, that, oh, she's so optimistic, she just is in denial of reality. Well, really, that's not the case. And for those of you that feel this way, you understand what I'm saying. It's not a denial of reality. Obviously, there's still very realistic things, but it is the confidence about the future or a successful outcome. When you're optimistic, you have confidence that a successful outcome is going to happen, and you're confident about the future. And then it is the unwavering, this is for faith-based people, it is the unwavering expectation that our loving God is working every situation for our future good. And so I think a lot of times we have to switch our mindset around optimism. And here's what Craig said: what consumes your mind consumes your life. And I thought, man, that's so true. I mean, actually, that kind of goes right in line, Kyra, with what you just said also. What consumes your mind consumes your life. And so the quality of our lives is going to really be determined by our mindset. And how do we think? And are we keeping that good mindset? So he talked a little bit about pessimistic people. He said, pessimists tend to view negative events as bad before they even think first about what could go right. They begin to develop a victim mentality, and sometimes probably all of you guys right now could think of a visual of someone in your head who usually is a victim. Like, I can immediately think of several, and they just go to that automatically. They can think that they're just being realistic at times, but usually when you see a pessimistic person or someone who's going into victim mode, it's because fear is the underlying cause. Somewhere they've got some fear, and so it's causing that. And so he said, feed your faith and starve your fears, or say it a different way, starve your fears and feed your faith. And I thought that was so great, because if we're being honest, it's not super easy to starve your fears. Yes, Don, it's Craig Groeschel with a G, and he has a podcast called the Leadership Podcast, and it is awesome. And also, if you guys are a person of faith, you can go to Life Church and download the app, and you can watch all of his messages on there. And you can do it from your phone, from an iPad, from your TV. I have it as an app, like on Apple TV, and so I just like pull it up on my TV and watch. Great question. Thank you, because I know a lot of people haven't heard him before. So Feed Your Faith. Oh yeah, thanks, Troy. It's also on Roku. Yes. So Starve Your Fears and Feed Your Faith. And then he said this, and I thought this was so great. The struggle I'm in today is producing the strength I need tomorrow. And I don't know if some of you can relate to this, but anytime that I've had something like really wrong or really bad happen in my life, and I thought it was like the worst thing ever. And now I look back on that and I'm like, man, that totally prepared me for blank. So if you are in like a time of struggle, which we all have times of struggle, and some are worse and some are better, and some are quick and some last a long time. But the struggle that you're in today is actually producing the strength that you need for tomorrow. And this was the part that I really liked. I may not like what I'm going through, but I believe that God is using this for something bigger, for his glory. And Craig said, we may not see him, but he's there to sweep up all the stuff around us. And that was one of my favorite things that he said. And he told this story about he called him this olive guy. He said when he and his wife, I'm going to butcher the story, but in a nutshell, when he and his wife very first, when Craig graduated from seminary, they went to this big fancy dinner somewhere. Somebody invited him to this big fancy dinner. And he said that it was like, the white tablecloths. And have you guys been to those restaurants where they like have those crumb scoopers? That's like my favorite. Like I love when people come out and like scoop up all those crumbs, because I kind of have OCD. So it's like my favorite thing ever when they come and scoop up all those little crumbs. But anyway, he said that he was like kind of mortified because he didn't know, like, was the fork supposed to go on the left or the right, and like which fork was he supposed to use first, and was he supposed to eat one way around the plate or whatever. He just said he didn't know what to do. And so he said that he went to eat a salad, I think it was, and anyway he picked up an olive, but it flew out of his hand and flew on the floor and rolled across the floor. And he said, like a magical like movie scene, this guy came busting out behind these curtains and like swooped up that olive and like went back behind the curtains. And he said, he was like, what the heck? Like, how did that even happen? And he said he just like appeared out of nowhere and he like got that olive up. And so then Craig said, so obviously because I am who I am, I had to drop another olive because I just didn't know whether this guy was like a magical like mystery or was he going to do it again or what. And so he said he dropped another olive on the floor, and he said the guy came out behind the curtain, swooped up the olive and went right back behind the curtain. And so he said that when he was preparing for the message, he said, that's the story that I thought of, because honestly, for faith-based people, that's kind of how God is with us. Like he's just there to sweep up all the stuff around us. And I thought, man, that gave me like such a great peaceful feeling when he said that, because it was a good analogy. And I was like, oh, that is just the best thing ever. So anyway, I thought that was great. You guys should go back and watch this. Actually, we'll post the link to that in the Facebook group so you guys can easily find it. If you didn't get to watch it, you should. I mean, it's a quick 30 minutes and it was really good. But anyway, he ended with this. Renew my mind with truth on the right perspective. And so I would challenge you to write that down or take a picture of it or whatever and make this your thought for the week. Just try to renew your mind with truth on the right perspective, because we can get lost in a lot of different perspectives sometimes. And, you hear from so many different people. And the reality is sometimes it's hard to know the right perspective. I don't know, if I'm being totally honest. I think it's hard to know what the right perspective is. So renew your mind with the truth on the right perspective this week. We'll post that too. So I'm going to switch gears because I want to talk to you guys about the Wheel of Life. So some of you know this who know me well. This is one of my favorite books ever. Can you all see me when you can see the screen too? Can you see this picture? Okay, cool. Okay. It's Where Will You Be 5 Years From Today? And you can get this on Amazon. It's like $10 or I don't know. They also sell it at Target. It's $14.95. And so this is one of my favorite books, and it has activities. My best friend Josh and I are obsessed. We worked through this whole book like a million times, but you can go back to it. Like I go back to this all the time. So this is one exercise I really wanted you guys to have. So I would encourage you right now, just like really quickly, to jot down everything that's in these circles. So family in one circle, or you can take a picture of it and then you can jot down the number, but you're gonna attach a number to these. So family, career, health, financial, education, recreational, charitable, adventure, travel, romance, relationships, and spiritual. And here's what I want you to do. And I'm going to give you like a bigger version of this, but this is just kind of like a mini one to start. So here's what the book says about the wheel of life. To balance your most important lifetime goals, think of your life as a wheel with many different spokes. To have a balanced life, each spoke needs your attention. Balance the wheel of your life by setting 5-year goals in each of these areas. And we all know that the reason why we want to set goals in each of these areas is because when we set a goal, no matter how big or small, and there should be no judgment around your goals, by the way, right? They're your goals. So like Austin's goal for career and my goal for career, or his goal for health and my goal for health, maybe two totally different things, but neither are right or wrong because they're his goals and they're my goals. So there should be no judgment around them. But what this book tells you to do, and I have, this is crazy, but I've done this for years. I mean, probably, I don't know, I want to say I found this book maybe 8 years ago. And it's crazy to go back and see like 5 years ago, the numbers that I would have given, that I gave myself in each of these compared to like now, compared to even last year, like they go up and down, but it's just awareness. And so here's what the book wants you to do. On a scale of 1 to 7, where 1 means you are not at all satisfied with your life in that category, and 7 means you are completely satisfied, you could not be more satisfied. You are supposed to give yourself a number between 1 and 7 in each of those categories. And now here's the interest, and I really would love for you guys to do that activity. And if you really want to, you can do it real quick while we're on here and post it in the chat. Post what your number is in the chat. But here's what I really want to tell you. This is crazy. The people on Forbes magazine's list of the 400 richest Americans in the world, I'm sorry, richest Americans, not in the world, Americans, averaged a 5.8. If you want to just write that down. So when you do get to add your numbers up, you can see how you shake out. But the 400 richest Americans from Forbes magazine averaged a 5.8. Here's the crazy thing. The same Inuit people in Greenland and the cattle herding Maasai of Kenya who live in dung huts with no electricity or running water also averaged 5.8. Is that the craziest thing ever? I mean, so that just goes to show you how happiness and how all these areas in your life, your surroundings really don't affect it that much. It's how you view them and how you're working on that. And so I just think this is such a great exercise to do. And all it does is bring awareness. Yep, that's exactly right, Teresa. They're happy with what they have. And sometimes, you know, that really gets me to think too, because I feel like, man, all of us on this Zoom have a lot more around us than, I'm pretty sure none of y'all live in a dung hut with no electricity or running water. However, it's just crazy. And so they quote a lot from the book, Money Really Doesn't Buy Happiness. But Teresa, you're spot on. It's because they're happy with what they have. And let me tell you guys, the name of the book is Where Will You Be 5 Years From Today? And they also have one for married. I got this for my brother and sister-in-law, Caitlin and Chris, when they got married, because they have one for couples, like when you get married. It's like, where will you be? I can't remember how many years it is. So anyway, here's the next part of this. How am I doing on time? Oh, okay, perfect. So this is kind of that on crack. This is a Tony Robbins assessment that I paid a lot of money to have at one point and then lost it, and I just refound it a couple of weeks ago. So we're gonna post this as a PDF in the Facebook, in the closed Facebook group, so that you guys will have this, because this is your homework for the week. And if you want to come back and share, awesome. But this is like a little bit more of a serious, in-depth one. And what you're going to do is add up all of your totals. I'm going to do this too, because I discovered that it's been like almost 4 years since I did this last. So I would encourage you to do this week, get it from the Facebook group, and then add up your numbers. And then here's the main important part though. After you add up your numbers, the key is answering these questions over here. So what area on the wheel are you most wanting and willing to make a difference with? What's the current state of this area in your life? And then what is missing or not working for you in this area? And then what would you like to create in this area? And you're actually going to kind of like pin them on this wheel so that you can see. And I just think in order to, and this is my opinion, in order to have a really good mindset and to keep our mindset up, we have to be aware and we have to know where we're at. And we have to be able to know, okay, I feel really, really, really great about my family right now because we've all been home and we're on this routine and we've bonded and everything's great. Or some of you like may want to kill your family right now. I don't know. You could be like on opposite ends of the spectrum, but then you're like, gosh, okay, like the money finance area, I feel like this whole pandemic thing has like thrown a wrench in that. And so that needs to be my focus right now. Or you might feel like you're great and you've got reserves and you're secure. And so you want to go figure out how you can be more healthy. Like right now, one of my mentors, a lot of you guys know Linda McKissick, she focuses on her health more than anybody I've ever met in my life. And I just think it's so awesome because that's what is important to her. And she focuses on it. And so I love that. Let me see. Oh, Amy, this reminds me of a coffee cup I have that says to have more, desire less. Yep. I love that. Stephanie, this is my first time joining. Oh, that's just to me. Oh, thank you for being on, Steph. Appreciate it. 2 books on Amazon, author Michelle. Oh, thanks for being on, Michelle. The author, that's weird. It doesn't have an author. Huh. Hold on. Does the cover look like this? If this helps, there's a top 10 list, a 1 year, a 2 year, a 7 year. It should just be a big red one that has a 5 on the front. On the back, it has a quote by Abraham Maslow. What is life for? It is for you. So I don't know if maybe that's the author, but that's really weird. It doesn't have who the author is on there. So hopefully, oh, you found it. Okay, perfect. Great, thanks. Okay, so that's going to be your homework. Complete those 2 pages. Don't forget to send handwritten notes. And a lot of you have been adding people to the Facebook group and sharing. And so I think that's great because I have no real reason, what's the word, I don't really get anything out of this ever or from this. I just want to see you guys and be able to bring some mindset. And I just think I loved Craig's message because I was sick of hearing all the bad news too. So here's the quote I want to leave you with. The goal is to grow so strong on the inside that nothing on the outside can affect your inner wellness without your conscious permission. And I just think that is an incredible place to be, when you can grow so strong on the inside that nothing that happens with your work, with your life, with your friends or your peers or any of that can actually affect your inner wellness without your conscious permission. And I just think that I'm not 100% there yet. Yeah, Missy, I knew you would love that. I love that too. I'm not 100% there yet, and I don't know that anybody is. However, I think focusing on that and just having that kind of as your thought process is a really good place to be. So yeah, that's it, man, right on time. Perfect. Yes. Oh, let me go back. Homework slide again. There you go. The 2-page Wheel of Life exercise. Thank you guys so much for being on. I hope to see you next week. Austin, I'm so glad you were on. Yep, Dee, I love that. Thank you guys. Thanks, Jennifer. Thanks, Michael. Have a great rest of your week. And I'll see you guys next Wednesday. Bye, Teresa.